I'm Phil Gale. Welcome to the programme. We begin with breaking news. Germany is to expand border controls to all of its land borders from next Monday. That's the 16th of September. The measures will initially be in place for 6 months. The coalition government's under pressure to bolster security following a series of Islamist-linked attacks. And these latest measures are in addition to controls put in place at some of Germany's land borders last October. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser made the announcement this afternoon in Berlin.
Until we can achieve stronger border protection with the joint European asylum system, we're forced to further protect our national borders. These border controls allow us to turn back irregular migrants. We've already denied entry to 30,000 irregular migrants since last October. That is why we will expand temporary controls to all our national land borders.
Let's go through this with our correspondent Leonie von Hammerstein. Welcome, Leonie. And why is Germany doing this now?
Well, you said it, Phil. The government has been under immense pressure to take a tougher stance on irregular migration because the public debate here has been building and building over the last couple of weeks, especially after a deadly knife attack in Solingen in Western Germany, where, the suspected attacker was a Syrian citizen who had evaded an order to be deported from Germany to Bulgaria. That was the country where he first entered the EU. And this basically reignited a bitter debate on how to curb irregular migration. A debate that also played a role at recent regional elections in 2 eastern German states, that saw the far-right anti-immigrant AfD, who basically campaigned on a platform of very, very strict restrictions against irregular migration, win one of these elections and come in second in the other. And they really have been able to drive this political debate. And now there's a third regional election coming up in just 2 weeks where, the news poll sees the AfD at around 27% of the votes. So the parties in the ruling governing coalition here in Germany are under pressure. They are worried, not least also because recent polls show that Germans, a majority of Germans, 70%, are in favor of actually permanent checks along Germany's borders. They're in favor of stricter policies on migration.
So these changes will affect 5 of Germany's neighbours. What was happening on the other 4 land borders?
Well, on these other 4 borders, Germany already ordered checks, these temporary checks, last October. On the border to Austria, they have been in place since 2015. That's one of the 4. Now, according to the Interior Ministry, more than 30,000 people have been turned away since October. And just for some context, it's important to know that all of these countries lie in the Schengen area. So, normally there's supposed to be control-free travel across all borders. Now, there are ways for member states to introduce these temporary border controls in an event of a serious threat to public policy, internal security, but it must be applied as a last resort measure. And now Nancy Faeser announced that she wants to introduce these similar temporary border checks along the other borders, but she hasn't given much detail what they're going to look like.
So how and when, then, will the German government or Nancy Faeser explain how these new rules can conform with EU rules on open borders within the bloc?
Well, she stressed today at the press conference that she first wants to have a confidential conversation with the opposition leaders of the conservative CDU, CSU, and Germany's 16 federal states. That meeting is going to happen tomorrow, and then after that meeting, we will hopefully know more.
OK, thank you for that, Leonie. DW correspondent Leonie von Hammerstein.